good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. We are glad that you are here to tune in to the final 2 days here of Street Fighter League Pro-JP. My name is Vicious, back at it again with St. Cola. We're changing it up for the very last second because we have so many things to talk about, and it's been such a wild ride, such a wild journey that you had to be here for it. Again, we have so much to talk about, but before we get into it, before we get into today's matches, what the playoff implications are, I gotta introduce my man St. Cola back into the fray. Yo, welcome back from CEO first and foremost, and how are we feeling about today's matches?
I think that this is going to be the most insane run. We were talking about this before. This is going to be the most insane run. All of the competitors have to fight for these points. Obviously, the two are out right here. You see, Soul didn't make it too far. Unfortunate. Detonation also out. But there are 5. Let me get to Luke real quick. Luke is available for December 7th. Being today allowed to play. I would like to see maybe Mochi come through. He's probably the one that's been playing the character the most, making the most waves. But back at it, in terms of the points differential, there's not much. For the 5 teams, there's only 4 positions left for the playoffs that are coming up in January to go towards a grand finals position.
Right, yeah, and today it's going to be pretty close. We've talked about some of the points that were on the line and some of the teams that are pretty much at the cusp of not making it, and it's kind of wild to hear about some of these teams. I don't know if you guys paid attention to the last episode's rankings. You know, as close as it is, we still have the playoffs to think about, right? We're still looking for the 2nd through 5th place, and this is how the playoffs usually are broken down, right? The number 1 team of the league automatically gets sent into the grand finals position over on the right. But before we even get into that, the playoffs have to happen first. 2nd through 5th place face off in a bracket in early January, and they're going to be facing off against each other. Depending on where they're seated, they either have the home or away position. Those teams will going to be, the top 2 teams are going to be sent into the grand finals to face off against first place, and the winner of that will be getting 8 million yen. Actually, a fair cut of that, a 5 million yen prize. 2nd place with 2 million yen, 3rd place with 1 million yen. But the most important thing is that the top 2 teams from the league, on top of being, you know, the championships, whoever takes it all down, they get to face off against the other players from Street Fighter League across the pond for the US in the World Championships happening during Capcom Cup. And the details for that and when it's happening is coming up pretty soon. And I'd imagine everybody is pretty stoked for that. I've been looking forward to this moment for so long already. But talking about the matches ahead right now, right? Nagoya Ojo Body Star versus V6 plus FAV Roto Z. There's a lot on the line because of the fact that the FAV team could still potentially be out of the running. That's how close of a race it's been and why it's so important to talk about the playoff implications going forward.
That's right. Getting closer and closer to the finale. We only have like mere points away from many of these teams. FAV Roto Z is going to be going up against Nagoya Ojo Body Star. Nagoya Ojo Body Star, you know, still trying to fight in that position. Honestly, if you look back at what had happened, what had occurred, we have a 3-1 from Shinobiism first against Detonation. Detonation definitely out. Shinobiism still in contention for qualification in that big win right there from Mizuwa, who's been showing out. Itazaki Zengi not able to close it out against Mago. Now, next is going to be up Gyogun. Oh, my bad. That was Gyogun. But still the 3-1 right there for Gyogun, taking down Detonation. Imoke also coming through. Then we get to Good 8 Squad and FAV Roto Z, 3-1 right there from Good 8 Squad, solidifying their spot and their position and showcasing why they are so dominant in this league, why they have been so dominant in this league. 2-3 right there. Look at that anchor match against an Evo champion right there. The Capcom Cup champion coming against the Evo champion. That was a sick match right there. And then Pugera taking out Tokido. Then let's move on to Melodon Beast taking the win against Ojo Body Star. A clean sweep, an absolute clean sweep. And Fudo bringing out the Mika. And taking down Akira in a matchup that's not so good.
This is so important, right? This is absolutely important talking about this particular matchup. Melodon Beast actually needed this full-on sweep to even be in the contention for the playoffs. And Nagoya Ojo Body Stars, right, giving them those 4 points actually makes it a lot worse for them. They haven't secured their spot. On the other hand, when you see the other matches that happen, Shinobi and Gaming, despite them getting the draw, that doesn't secure them a spot either. Sai Shunkan, Soul Kumamoto, despite getting those 2 points, did not happen to get themselves locked in either. right? Shinobi's, if they had gotten at least one more point, it would have been so much better for them. 3 points is exactly what they needed to give them somewhat of a safety net because of this fact right here. If you're looking at the current roster and the current rankings, 2nd through 5th place, 2nd through 6th place, I should say, the running and the split is not too far from each other. If you see on your screen, if any of the ties happen, obviously it goes into the battle points accumulated, but I feel like with the way that it's going, we might not even have to do all that. I think right now the points are just so close to each other. We're only looking at 5th place to 6th place, right? Somebody, one of these teams could legit just leapfrog over the other and make it in. And we could also see some big upsets despite how consistent this team or some of these teams have been throughout the league. One of those teams being the V6 plus FAV Roto Z squad. They've been absolutely dominant and consistent, as you can see from the spread here, from the chart. But it don't mean jack squat if you happen to falter by the wayside. If you lose just about what, or if you don't accumulate as many points as possible in your final run here, you might just fall into 6th place. That's how crazy it is. Even 2nd place as it stands right now is not safe, ladies and gentlemen. That's how important it is for this match.
It's kind of wild because we've seen the variance in terms of, we just saw the graph right there too. We see the variance in terms of the points differentials that have come through every single week. People gunning up and down. I feel like the pole position have been taken either which way. It's so hard to call who's going to take it in that 2nd spot. And again, we're at the finale where the points are so finite that it's hard to call who's going to take it. Today, again, is going to be the most intense Street Fighter League Japan run because of the fact that only a few can get it done. We're so close. We are so close to the end. Actually, the next episode is going to be in, and make sure y'all watch this episode and the next on YouTube, Twitch, and Milidon on all Capcom Fighters applicable channels. This is going to be ridiculous. I'm so excited. I'm like jittery because I cannot tell what's going to happen. In fact, I hope someone pulls out Luke. I'm not sure if anyone will take it or take Luke out, but let's see who comes through with these teams. The first one on the deck, Oja Body Star, is going to be the lightning fast Akira, forming the head with the Kami. Now, coming through with the arms, both the left and the right, is going to be the youngness explosion, Oniki himself with that bison play, the dictatorship. Right after that, with the legs, is going to be the maestro of movement himself, MOV, saying, I'm not free. And last but not least, forming the torso is the devil of victory himself, Gyogun, rounding out the Voltron of the Goya Oja Body Star. What a sick team.
Without a doubt, right? We've seen a good amount of consistency from the teams, whether it's winning and or losing. But the fact of the matter is, the Goya Oja really needs these points, especially against the team coming up next. V6 plus FAV Roto Z, led by the strongest halberd that is Sakonoko, with the ever-impressive Not. He might be sharpening up his kill combos. There's some new tech out there. Spotted out by the eyes of desperation. Ryusei with that Urian as well, followed by another Urian player, but not just any. It is the genius pro gamer that is Taquito, and of course, rounding out the Brady bunch of all-stars is Papa Bonchan, the executioner of justice, with that patented Sagat code. But not just Sagat, he also has the Karen, but not just the Karen, he also has the fundamentals to possibly take down whoever gets into his line of fire. You can see the squad. They're absolutely ready. The fact that Sakonoko gets into it as well is one of the coolest things that I've ever seen.
Gotta keep that heat. We said today you definitely gotta come through and play. And last time they fought, Oja Body Stars took the victory. Oniki with the Bison lost to Ryusei's Urian, but Dogura's Bison beat Sakonoko's Mana, and then Akira's Kami closed it out dominantly against the anchor match in Tokido's Urian. That was a 6 set to show you how Urian could take down Urian, or Kami could take down Urian. But after destroying Melodon Beast yesterday, they got to come back and play, and that's kind of tough. You just had one day of play that was difficult. Now you got to come through again for another 9 to 5. Let's see how winded they are.
I'm sure they're used to it at this point, right? They're going to be going into like each of their matches after doing whatever they had to do during the day. Like they'll have to work their full-time job and then go to another full-time job. They're fine with that, you know? Like, you know, speaking from experience, they're just fine with that. Not a problem. Never stops, not ever. So this is going to be pretty important, right? MOV is actually on the bench for the away team. So Nagoya Oja Body Stars, again, previously from their matches yesterday, again, they're pulling double duty. They happen to falter pretty significantly, right? 0-4 in their overall performance. Actually, the first time we've seen Akira get shut down the way that he did, Dogura actually getting shut down as well against Mildon Beast. Obviously, a very, very impressive team who's starting to pull it out right at the very end. This is do or die time for both teams, right? Shinobi's in gaming, I think, needs to solidify a good amount of points. Let me see. With the current standing, 3rd place and 27 points, I think maybe 3 points might be able to do it to solidify their spot. Nagoya Ultra Body Stars is at 26 right now, and that's 6th place. So that's going to be pretty hard to contest. I think, yeah, they would need at least 3 points to stay alive at most, considering their current overall record.
Good luck to them. Because Tokido is asking Sako if he remembers who he's supposed to play against as they get into the home discussion. They say Dogra and say, Sako saying, of course, Tokido, Urian going up on first, and Sako on the bench. I definitely suspected MOV and Sako to sit it out. Just looking at the matchup spread, let's see what happens here. Again, Tokido, look at how many wins he's gotten. Dogura not too far behind. 14 for Tokido, 13 points though for the side of Dogura. These are high places right here. And a lot of anchor wins right here. Look at that one against YT Mochi. Not a lot of losses,
you can see anytime it's highlighted with the golden W, that pretty much means they were in the anchor spot, hence why they have so many points in their overall record. But I meant to say, at a bare minimum, they need 3 points, right? That's what the one of the teams needs going into it. V6 plus FAV Roto Z also they need 2 points to solidify themselves. So we'll see how it plays out. It's going to be so scary. Nagoya Ultra Body Star in a really tough position at 26 points. They need to, oh my God, I just thought about it right now. They need a full sweep, dude. They need a full sweep. Oh, dang. This is tough. They also need 4 points to get them as far as possible into solidifying their spot, I feel like. This is tough. This is absolutely tough.
This first match literally determines so much.
It's not to say that they won't make it, but 4 points is the security spot, right? It's gonna be it's what solidifies them into the playoffs. It really depends on how poorly Mildon Beast, Gyogun, the rest do, but 4 is looking like a hefty amount of number, especially against someone or a team like V6 plus FAV Roto Z. That is so scary. But not as scary as Tokido when he's prepped, right? Tokido is saying that the team is very prepared for the Dictator matchup. And obviously you can see how it's played out and overall with how Tokido's been doing against Dogura, or not even Dogura, but just overall in the league, right? Being one of the #1 performers. Dogura happened to pick this matchup carefully, right? He's making sure that he wants to put himself first and establish the momentum for the team, which is ever so important, right? I mean, we've seen how far momentum can take players. But we do have another trivia question? What is going on? Is this new?
Yeah, I've not seen this before. We started using different graphics and things like that. The theme is about how they describe their Street Fighter League experience, which makes sense because they're winding down in the end. I'm very curious to see, especially the new competitors coming through, how they felt about their experience, like what they've gained, what they've grown from. For a lot of them, especially the new ones that maybe new in people's faces, like Akira and stuff like that. I'm so curious to see what they're saying. And it looks like Bonchan says chaos. Tokido says war, Ryusei says tough, and Sako says pressure. So these are one-word answers here.
That's pretty cool. If they were to describe their experience in one word, these are the words that they've chosen, and it's pretty accurate. I think this is really poetic. Actually, this is mad. Yeah. Bonchan saying chaos, 100% correct because of how close it is towards the end. Tokido saying war. And obviously you can see why with some of the matches that go down, we end up losing our voices and how close it is. Do not tell me Ryusei is on the bench again. Please do not. I see him put on his shades, and that usually means he's not playing. I love watching him play, but that might be the case. Who knows? But either way, you saw it from the sign. I think that Ando-san put up is you have to explain it with one or describe it with one Japanese character. Sako's on the bench today. Okay, cool. I'm glad that Ryusei gets to play. It's unfortunate that Sako doesn't get to. It would have been sick, but, you know, I would have loved to see maybe Sakonoko pull out Luke today, because we all know, we've talked about Sakonoko being one of the biggest lab monsters in breaking down the newest characters. It's Takagi-san, excuse me, not Ando-san, that's Takagi-san.
Gotcha. I do feel like if there's two players that were going to pull it out, Luke would definitely be either, which is funny, you know, Sako, as you said, also Momochi, who we might be seeing later on come through. But then again, it's one of those picks where, do you pick this character? You know, he's fresh, he's new, sussing out matchups, a little bit harder to do because he's so, you know, he just came out only a couple weeks ago. You're not so solidified and you need every point possible. These two top placers right here, what a way to start off. Tokido versus Dogura, Urien versus Bison, Street Fighter League Japan, let's get it. Remember, this is gonna be the most intense episode thus far.
Then the finale, I would agree. I think, you know, Tokido versus Dogura to start things off is one to really set the adrenaline on fire. It's going to be Urien versus Bison. Tell me a little bit about the matchup and what we could expect. We can see the V-set coming in from Dogura's Bison, and we can also see it from Tokido. What does that tell us about the matchup?
Means less fireballs on the deck of Tokido. Gotta be careful with those. You're slinging those out. One good V skill could just get the absorption going and put the fireball in play for Bison, but not a lot. There we go. Finally, coming from Dogura. I like the Caesar kicks to get that corner push. I feel like this is going to be a slugging match right here. Both of them trying to enact their pressure, because if you get knocked on your back, either character is going to be Suffer City.
See him trying to paint the fence, right? Dogura is trying to get all that gray life down, all the chip life down as much as possible, using the Psycho Wax. And I like the scissor kick to kind of get that preemptive jump away from Tokido, but still, yes, sir. This is what I like to see, right? Using the V-reversals against the heavier normals to get himself that secured knockdown. And I like this already. The Onslaught trying to get the throw bait. Nothing having it, though. Shadow Axe incoming, but he did not have the V-trigger.
Wow, that EX being used, jump meeting kick, big jump in, doesn't commit to the crouch fierce though. Send him to the corner, but it's still looking grim, and there's the win, the EX chariot tackle. You see him, Tokido, coming to a lot of normals, so that EX chariot tackle coming through from damn near nowhere. First one to Tokido, a lot of movement from him, hard to place where he wants to be at. Dogura finding it a little bit more difficult to hit the or come through the normal, in the neutral I should say. EX in play, never mind. It's a good one to come through.
What an interruption. Yeah, that standing medium punch, he did have the interruption, but didn't have anything to follow through with it. They are going to be backing out just a little bit. They kind of had that awkward stare in their eyes. They're like, are you feeling this right now? And they had to back off just a little bit. He didn't get the charge at the V.
I like that option. That EX to go right through the fireball, not get that Ignite Thunder. This is where you want to be when you're Bison. Put them up against the wall. Make a fall, but the bumper from the medium. Back to the screen, that back throw Batista bomb. The walk-up decision from Tokido.
See it. Yeah, Tokido's been taking to the skies so much more because he's taking advantage of the fact that Bison is not as powerful when it comes to anti-airing in this particular season. Now, the trigger that is on deck right now, it's going to be suppressed just a little bit. No, actually, Tokido was not allowed to continue in pursuit after the initial launch of that V-trigger. And here we go. This is what we like to see. The reset afterwards, another throw just close to death now, just one touch away. Dogura spending the bar for the Psycho Ball. The Psycho Blast coming in.
On it, heavy kick. Anybody's game. Dogura does have the EX, enacts it again. Drop blocked. Right through the Psycho Crusher, dash up. Anybody's game again, one touch situation. Tokido. EX, he's going in. That. Even though he's got the lead. Does have V-bar to go for V, shift and break to stay away from danger.
Oh my God, it actually goes down to the wire. It's going to be going towards Tokido either way. Because of the fact that they both had the same score, Tokido was at the advantage because he had the first round, and Dogura understands the stress. He was trying to chase him down. He did what he could, but that is a very strategic win from Tokido. Very, very smart play.
We've seen Dogura go that lame style, but it looks like Tokido's like aware of that, like aware of the fact that Dogura will turn down if need be, to not overextend. I feel like Dogura has to read the rhythm a little bit better. But Tokido is making it hard. Like that challenge with the jabs.
But we saw how Tokido has pretty much controlled the neutral and taken it away from Dogura. We know that Dogura likes to play at the pace to kind of play the quote-unquote lame style try to chip you away until he gets the advantage in the corner. But it seems like right now, Tokido is welcoming that. He's doing just fine without it. But Dogura right now has been struggling. What do you think Dogura needs to do right now to take it over Tokido?
This right here, this is perfect. Don't overextend, stay outside that distance, and then once you get the lead, then you go in. He's been doing a good job of dealing with the V-trigger and stuff like that. I feel like that's when he falters the most. Is that the V-trigger situation, which is damn near the inevitable. If he can stay away and get that lead, get that win. Make Tokido overextend, but the back though, Batista Bomb puts him in the corner. This is not good. This is where Bison suffers. When you're caught up in the corner, yeah, you have to run the light, the EX, get that corner flip, even on block, it's good. But the flip on decision, not also good for Bison. Didn't commit to the counter hit. Goes low in the fadeaway, fold this dude like an omelet.
Omelets are great in the morning. I love omelets, man. But I'll tell you what, man, that is a great choice from Dogura going in for that selection. Crouching heavy punch to get the exchange against Tokido, against the double knee drop pretty early, but still the trade is not in his favor. You see the huge difference and the EX Chariot tackle. I love how ambiguous Tokido is with his decision making, but now Dogura getting a hell attack of his own, and there's so much carry behind it. A big confirm from the side of Tokido from the medium punch. It gets him out of the corner. It nets him the damage, but overall, it lets him reset the pace.
We're going to anti-air for Tokido. That heavy kick to come through. I like to see that a lot more when Dogura's trying to come through the skies, because we feel like I feel like Dogura is getting a little bit more antsy on the ground game, and now Tokido's watching everywhere, land, sea, and skies. Runs the EX, no catch though. Hold that throw on the -2.
Oh, there's a sweep activation, of course. It's going to be way far out, but still, this is going to be very important. Tokido is still more so towards the wall, but he holds his own pretty well, right? Throwing out the fireballs. We were talking about less fireballs. It's been quite the opposite. Tokido has been throwing it down with even more fireballs when he's in pressure, I feel like.
It's that confidence. Show you something. I feel like Tokido not leaving anything off the table in terms of the toolkit. Little delay. Still, the defense from Dogura runs the EX to put him in the corner. I like that chase down. Don't do the crouch crease. It might whiff. You might get hit. This will definitely hit the head, but I won't get one free on the mirror, and the light touch Tokido on set point.
And that was so smart too. Dogura thought he was far enough for the Psycho Crusher to be plus enough to pursue even more buttons, but that big counter hit with a giant break for Tokido to allow him to get himself offensive, get a little bit more offensive with that second mirror setup.
And the fireball's coming through. And Tokido's shifting where he's at to make it harder to get the V-skill absorption from Dogura. What a confirm right here. Caught the dash with the fierce. He may not pass. Again, Dogura backing up to try to find an anti-air. Just waiting for him. This is fine. You got him caught up in the corner. Let him tire himself out. Oh, the buffers up for Tokido. Always go for the cherry tackle.
That was actually super sick. He went for the coil punch. That is not difficult. That is not easy to do. That is like one of the more impressive things that he could do as a charge character. Plus frames afterwards, still more plus frames. He's laying on the pressure. He's putting in the foundation. He's making it thick. I'm telling you right now, this guy, Tokido, is looking like a fully fleshed out Urian player. Back-to-back throws, and that's going to be it. The first point going towards Team V6 Plus FAV Moto Z 2-1, or 2-0 in favor of Tokido.
It kind of felt like a 2-1 though, because the way that Dogura was playing, I felt like he was just few shifts away, but Tokido's confidence to not leave anything off the table with the fireballs and things like that, because obviously, as we saw before with the V-skill fireballs coming through from Bison, that lays down the approach, that watches the 6, so you can dash in a little bit easier. But Tokido with the dominance in the neutral. My man walked up to him twice to get the throw, and that just shows you how ready prepared he was for this matchup. Not only the matchup in terms of the character, but Dogura himself.
I'm looking at the way that Dogura was playing against Tokido. That's the first time where he had to chase down his opponent's majority of the game, right? If you've seen and studied the way that Dogura wants to play it, he'll establish a life lead as much as he can, either via chip damage, gray life, but it didn't play out that way. Even as Tokido was laying down the offense, we didn't get to see too many via versus from the side of Bison either, to allow him to pretty much play that defense, get some of that gray life going. and find his opportunities to attack and at least chip him away. That didn't happen too often. There's been so many situations where he had to save his V-gauge to get his offensive pressure going with the mix-ups instead of relying on the lame style that he's been playing throughout the entirety of the league. Tokido fully aware of that, and you can see in the stats right now, he does have 50% in anti-airs. There's going to be a bunch of donuts on the bottom for both. No invincible reversals for either character. But then on the other side, you see Dogura 50% as well, just in a different number. 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's how many times Tokido has gone to this guy's. But I will say, in all fairness, it was via the knee drop a good amount of times.
That makes sense when you're fighting Bison. You want to take this guy's challenge the aerial approach, especially after you establish the ground game being strong too as well. Make them look for multiple things. Now, Tokido with the first win. This is big right here. Home team discussion again. They're feeling pumped up. Ryusei with the glasses off. The limiters are off. Let's see if he might come through. I feel like the Urians have definitely understood this matchup. They've understood the assignment. So I'd like to see Ryusei come up on the deck, but we'll see who comes to play.
What do you think is coming up next?
Ryusei actually, it doesn't matter. He already volunteered before I could even say, well, maybe. Or actually, Ryusei says, me. He's like the kid in the class with his hand up saying, let me go. Let me show you what I can do.
All right, well, he's gonna get it. I mean, you don't get to you don't actually get to guess. It could have been the other way. It could have been, Bonchan saying, you're gonna have to sit down and wait. But as it stands right now, it's gonna be back-to-back dictatorship from Oniki now stepping up to the plate, whom we haven't seen play as much. He's only had 4 times where he's shown up to play at the league. But I will say it's been pretty significant. He's at 50%, which isn't bad. He may not be one of the top point earners, but I'll tell you what, statistically, not too bad. 50%, it's nothing to shake a stick at. And speaking of 50%, it's the same here, surprisingly, with Ryusei.
You say at least with the anchor win right there, an important win, I should say. Not sure who number 10. Oh, he won against Daigo. There we go. Winning against Daigo. You say saying that he's happy that he's able to play it in the last episode. So that shows me that he's prepared. But if we look at the Bisons that are on the side of Nagoya Ojo Body Star, Dogra a little bit more, more calculated, I wouldn't say more calculated, a little bit slower paced. Oniki a lot more aggressive. He will chase you down more consistently. Oniki picked his match against Shudo, which he won too as well for his memorable match. So if there's someone that also understands the Urian pick, he also can do it too. I remember that match was actually really great because he broke down Shudo's defense consistently. And Shudo is probably the most defensive Urian player I've ever seen. Not many Urian players be using the defensive tactics of V-Shift and V-Reversal. They're really sticking towards V-Trigger. And we're going to be sticking towards this away trivia coming up real soon. Remember, it is just a one-word description of how the players have felt about Street Fighter League Japan in totality.
Using a Japanese character, it's so sick to see how their expressions are going to be towards their experience in the league. But as we get ready towards it, obviously, I can't read that, but I'll tell you what, as we get into the matchup, right, Oniki versus Ryusei is going to be ever so important because Ryusei has such an aggressive Urian. So it's up to Oniki to really pick that up early, despite not having too much experience in the league already. He's only played 4 matches, right? But as we get ourselves into it, we do have our results. From Akira, his character choice was People, Dogura was Fate, Oniki was Connect, and MOV was Grateful, which is pretty deep as well. MOV has been a veteran of the scene and has been well-versed in Street Fighter. Despite not having the best record, I feel like, MOV is still one of the pillars of the Street Fighter community. He's been such an impressive player over the course of years and generations, right? I'm kind of curious to hear the explanations. I would love to hear the explanations behind these choices, right? With Akira, he's got the Saint Cola, he's hitting them with the People. He's hitting them with that. And Dogura with Fate. Man, Dogura is mad dramatic, I feel like. He has to hit people with the character of Fate. And then Oniki with Connect. I think that's also pretty important and a very accurate description. Being able to come together as not only a community, but also coming and bringing in such faceted individuals, such impressive individuals when it comes to Street Fighter V, and forcing them in this team kind of style to find ways to yield as much success as possible. I think that kind of connection is pretty huge. We've talked about that as well, the differences between playing as an individual and as a team in the previous episode. So I think, Oniki's chosen the character, the Japanese character for Connect as something to further explain that.
I thought he chose the word to connect because he needs to connect every single hit to win right here for his team. He needs to be on point with every connection of those fists to face. This is Ryusei up on the deck against Oniki. Man, oh man, I do like people being a little bit more aggressive with the Bison pick, but if you're not able to go back to the lame style and have some defense on the deck, that's where Bison will falter. And by the way, Oniki on the real style meant every single effort of the team connected to them to where they are at now. So let's see if that all comes to fruition right here.
It's actually perfect, right? We talked about that situation where you have to come together as a team and help each other out and give different perspectives on how to conquer the opposition. And as it stands right now, Oniki is still trying to figure out what to do against my man Ryusei. Although we had a W against Shuto, he's facing up against one of the more aggressive and one of the more intelligent Yurians that we've seen in the world, right? He's been one to break down and adapt to every single matchup at a moment's notice, and it's been so impressive.
Trying to lock him down the corner, but I still feel like Ryusei's real comfortable right now. Remember, slinging out fireballs, if you're doing something like that, you're in the driver's seat. Hands it 2 and 10. Does hit the fireball, doesn't get the scissor kick, no big deal though. We'll find the immediate conversion and the activation. The grimace.
Is he gonna be the type to look for plus frames? Yes, he is. And yeah, out of there, no threat of the command grab. The second one coming in against Ryusei. Now, the last time they played, actually, Oniki fell short against Ryusei 2 games straight. I'm wondering what's going to happen now. Like, the anti-air is still there. Now the activation, man in the mirror time.
Gotta hold
and
this.
that is such a
no bar.
Oh my god.
You're dead.
That was such a deceptive way to get the second mirror.
And also the problem is, like, there's no V-bar to save, no V-reversal, things like that. Oniki's got to be careful of his meter management because you only have the 3 frame to get out of some of these situations to challenge. And even then, if you just press the wrong way, you will die against the mirror.
Does get the forward throw now, Oniki. Man, Ryusei just woke up with a forward dash back throw? There's nothing stopping this man.
He really isn't. Talks with the V skill. With the confidence right here for Ryusei to do that in that neutral, even in side distance. To stock up with a V skill like that shows me, again, he's got the confidence to win. Light and a scissor kick. I like that blast ender right there. Again, going for the damage that time in that combo. They're trying to reset.
That was so smart, man. Using that V shift again, getting himself out of danger, but to no end, right? The back throw is there. Nice read on the throw. Does get the back dash. Hey, that's going to be a lot of damage incoming. Critical Art is very much so on deck. Ryusei is going to take it down. Boom. Oh my god, he's not dead yet. That's fine.
Now he is with the back throw, but he's the bomb.
The tick throw coming in clean. Ryusei with full control. I gotta say, Oniki was pretty impressive utilizing that V-shift against the Indignant Thunder from the Enhanced Metallic Sphere. That's the first time we've ever really seen it played out that way to keep the momentum against Ryusei, or keep Ryusei in the corner, I should say, but it just was not enough. He used the second V-shift and didn't let it rock, or at least didn't let the break rock. I wonder if it would have been a whole different outcome for him because Ryusei would have been stuck in the corner still.
Overall, I'd like to see more V-shift from Oniki, to be honest. Like, get that bar saved up. That eliminates the aerial approach. You can V-shift and go for a punish. You know, so that's less you have to worry about in terms of having an anti-air. But I'd also like Oniki to stay a little bit closer. That stock up with the V skill, allowed him to get that dash up throw, even in the -2 situation.
Are you talking about when Ryusei were to do, if he were to do like a double knee drop, is that what you mean, like V-shifting against an anti-air? I think, you know, I don't think Ryusei's really gone to the double knee drop as often yet, though.
You're right. I would like to see just in general, I guess, V-shift usage. Just save that bar because we have seen Oniki go for trigger, but maybe he'll show me something right here. He is on the lock. Backs away from the shoulder. That was a bad one. Good decision from Oniki. The grimace. Let me see something. Explosion. Pick him up. Hell attack. Drop him down.
A tick throw is all he needs. Ryusei is, Ryusei was absolutely in danger off of that safe jump. Oniki doing great work, keeping it ambiguous. And that was so far. After the crouching light, he's still within range to implant the bomb. That's actually mad sick. Back corner.
That reaction right there. Mid-screen. Even at close range, able to get the fireball absorption. But his Bison, you kind of want to set it back so you can go back to the anti-zoning game. Right there, interrupting the chariot tackle. What a time to send it.
The anti-air is still intact. Ryusei going for the crouching heavy punch right on the mark. And this is the, man, this is such a good range to harass a Billy with normals. The cross up Psycho Crusher. My man Oniki's taking a page. You cannot charge your V-skill in front of him like that. Oniki keeping him in check, but still no more threat of trigger. Ryusei misses opportunity for the dash up after the crush counter.
Didn't have anything on lock. And then that would have been a great situation again, but didn't have the V-bar. But then again, as you said before, Ryusei hadn't been taking the skies so much, so maybe he wouldn't have been looking out for it. Anti with the crouch fierce trade. Not too bad for Ryusei, still in the lead of life, but it might be faded away. EX in play, then the hard knockdown. Trying to find the cross up.
We're waiting for that mirror activation. No, out of the way. Did not have enough to continue. Back throw. This is so tough. Low forward into the mirror. What are you going to do? Important tech from Oniki. Oh!
Let's go to the mirror right there. That was so close.
Oh, you still got it! Oh my god. The fireball has been so important as a nuisance against Oniki. Still within range to check the movement afterwards, thinking Oniki was going to be out of range. So smart from Ryusei to throwing out that low medium kick. It's been so close.
Back at one more round for Ryusei. So again, clean sweep Oniki. And not for nothing, Oniki is putting a lot more in the deck in terms of defense and strategizing where he stands to get better anti-airs, to get himself outside of the EX chariot tackle or normal chariot tackles.
National bring the pressure, does get the throw bait successfully. Getting that roundhouse to connect. It may not have been a crush counter, but it's still a decent one at that. V-reversal, no, off the mark, not close enough. But Ryusei has been at such a deficit. Oniki fully understanding the matchup now. He has been commanding the pace against Ryusei. But still well within range. A big counter poke, but no, the mirror comes out as a whiff punish against Hell's Inferno. And now the activation of his own plus frames.
Slides on through, no big deal. Stay away from the X knees. Absorption, I like this. Don't use that V-bar or the Psycho Crusher just to get through the fireball. Send the fireball right back at him. Ryusei with his back against the wall. With the threat. If he gets close, the command grab is something you have to worry about too as well. We already saw it before.
Had to make it safe, but puts himself in a very convenient. Oh my god, he actually read it correctly. He got himself the jump back fade away to tie it up against Ryusei. Ryusei not too shook. In fact, he was very impressed about that. He's like, man, you called out my EX chariot tackle? Good stuff. I like that.
Hey, okay. You nice, but you won't win. I do like the fact that Oniki is playing against Ryusei a lot more in the tools kit of the character. We saw the V-skill 2 get stuff. We saw him just standing in different ranges. And also, obviously, with that jump back, not only that, being able to be outside the range of chariot tackles and find perfect times to send out the V-skills or just find a medium punch punish. Oniki is doing very well in acclimating and doing something better than what he did before, where it was full on aggression and not able to, put the defense when need be. This is making his gameplay as neutral a lot more solid against his character. We're 1-to-1 right here.
Yeah, no, I think this is probably the best I've seen Oniki play thus far, right? I mean, he's had Ryusei's number since the last encounter, and what looked like Ryusei's match absolutely turned on its head because of how Oniki has been adapting. Actually, no, it was the other way around. Ryusei was the one that took it down over Oniki 2-0. But as it stands right now, it looks like Oniki has been the one that has the correct reads against Ryusei. And we're going into the final match. Again, we've talked about how important all of these points are for Nagoya Ojo Body Star. And as it stands right now, they still need to net themselves as much as possible. I mean, they may not get 40, but the most that they are, not 40, they may not get 30, but the most they can get right now is 29, and we'll see how that plays out, if that's going to be enough.
That's right. Game to game right here. Like, still walking in to get in that range. He's willing to, deal with the fireballs that may come his way from Ryusei, but whiffs the scissor kick punish. Oniki right back at him with the knockdown. Inferno. Slight walk up back throw. I like this. put him in the corner. This is where Bison really shines, his corner pressure, allowing for the plus run situation. The crouch fears, that's a fine trade right there. You'll take that. Jump heavy kick, activation. No grab though.
Oh, he still got the standing medium punch and went into the throw anyway. I love the jump back jab reset from Oniki, or at least to deter the approach from Ryusei. Getting checked on the dash. It's all Ryusei right now. And speaking of momentum, 47 seconds left on the clock. He's going to be backing away. The double D drop, he keeps it so ambiguous. And that's all he needed afterwards. Just a crouching light, nice and easy against Oniki. Huge side relief for Oniki, or excuse me, for Ryusei, but Oniki has a ton of meter to get himself started on offense. Yes, sir. Of course, he's going to use the Psycho Blast. And the EX Scissors.
I'm in the corner. One thing I gotta note is this: as soon as Oniki activates, Ryusei goes for the knees. He knows that he can't use the V-shift or V-break to get through. But if we're getting on the offense, not much you can do. Again, the corner position is perfect for Bison. So he's gonna be able to keep him there. EX headbutt will deny that with the cherry tackle. That was at the very tip to hit. On the dash though.
Plus frames after the EX scissor kick, allowing Ryusei to get thrown into the corner by Oniki, absorbing that fireball, saving it for later. You can't keep it to go. He had to let it go before it spoiled. Now the EX scissor kick's finding the market again for Oniki. Here comes a dangerous situation. You are still going to get punished. Yes, Oniki absolutely on point. He knew damn well that he was well in position to get the punish off of the mirror activation.
Final game, final round. Stocks up with the Ignite Thunder, sends it out, still gets a counter hit, but too far out for the shoulder tackle. Be decent. Oniki again trying to play in that fierce range. Misses the anti-air, that's the problem. Even with it being predicted, you know, still whiff, might get hit. Now caught up in the corner, that sun is rising, whiffs the throw. No big deal, backing up with the EX, the finesse and the bless, the knee drop, the stun. This is gonna be a lot of damage. They're scaling on this. One more touch. V-shift, no break, anti-air though. You gotta make the return over seat right here.
Good choice of V reversal, but still, Ryusei just needs one more touch, or at least a medium kick button, or a medium button, I should say, in general, to take down Oniki. How is it going to play out? Oh! And of course, it's going to be the double knee drop against Oniki, and it is the EX version. So much harder to anti-air. That would have been the perfect time to utilize the V-shift. Oniki was not ready for it. Ryusei takes it down 2-1. Again, another point for the side of V6 plus FAV Roto Z. What is that? 2 more points for them? They are looking at how many points overall? 30 points. And I think that pretty much solidifies it. That solidifies their place, if I'm not mistaken, because of the fact that they're playing against the Goyo Ojo Body Star. V6 plus FFA Roto Z is going to be moving on into the playoffs with 30 points.
Man, you can see Oniki's face just hurt. He had the right idea in terms of anti-air, just the wrong execution. As you just said, the V shift would have been perfect for a punish against the XP drop. But then again, it's so quick to be looking out for it, and you have to be able to rotate your meter right. We didn't see that rotation of meter in terms of V reversal, V shift, breaks, and things like that in the proper way from Oniki until the last moment. It was a little bit too late. And now we see a little bit of these the anti situations. 1 to 3 right there on the side of Ryusei in terms of anti-airs. 10 out of 11. We saw Oniki anti-air a lot, but it wasn't enough. 10 out of 11 anti-airs right there from Bison, which is already difficult to do. We already talked about how predictive it is. Crouching fierce or hell attack with the air-to-air. And then 2 out of 2 right there. 100% of bust outs for Ryusei. Perfect play, but again, not enough for the anti-air situation, and more than enough points right here. FAV Roto Z lock in the spot.
It's kind of wild because those 2 headbutts, I feel like maybe one of them was on wake up. The other one was after a blocked normal from mad far, right? That second one that hit was max distance. And that's what's wild about Ryusei, is that you never know exactly when he's going to throw out that EX headbutt. Now, there are ways to kind of avoid the risk of getting hit by said headbutt, especially on Urian's wake up, being able to throw a light, medium normal, or a normal that's medium enough that allows you to recover in time and avoid the damage in the first place, or avoid the hit in the first place. But Ryusei, of course, fully aware of that and utilizing it in places where you do not expect the EX headbutt. And I think that's where he yielded the most success in stealing back the momentum.
Speaking of success, if FFP Roto Z wins their anchor match, the top 5 are going to be fixated. This do or die for not only Akira, but also the rest of the team members on the other teams. They'll look at this like, let's go, Akira, let's go.
Yeah, I think with that toast, they already know that they're solidified in their spot for the playoffs. But again, it's ever so important if they take this W right here, because it pretty much ensures the fate, seals the fate for everybody else. So we'll see how that plays out. Bonchan is actually going up with a Karen up next against Akira and that Cammy. We've seen this matchup so many times over. Karen versus Cammy. But tell me, give me a little breakdown of what we could expect as we take a look at their overall win-loss record. Dang! Akira has 10 points. Look at how many W's this man has as the anchor and just everywhere else on the board. This guy's been so dominant. But yeah, give me a second of your thoughts, actually, Sinkola, telling me about what's going to happen between Akira's Cammy and Bonchan's Karen.
I feel like Bonchan's more aggressive. Like, he's a really aggressive ground game-based Karen player. And I do feel like this character can keep up with Cam. She's got the great normals to compare with that character. She can definitely fight her on the ground. Aerial approach, EX% Han, things like that can definitely take this guy to deal with her. And plus, with the induction of V-shift and break, you deal with the dive kicks a lot better. So I do think it's fairly even. I still think maybe Cammy might have a slight advantage. But going back into the wins right here, only 5 on the side of Bonchan, 10 on the side right here of Akira. Definitely an MVP, a lot of anchor matches wins. And Bonchan, though, says that he's pretty happy with second place, but he still wants to earn some more points. Akira definitely picked his match against Tokido. He spent 1 whole week preparing for it back then, and Bonchan picked his match against Bulgaria's boxer, which he won. So going back into it, I do think that if you're Bonchan, like, you already fought an aggressive, buffer-friendly, right, Cammy player that was Fujimura, that washed you. You definitely want to come through against this dude. You definitely have something on the deck ready for someone that's aggressive, but in a different sort of way. Maybe not with the buffers, but in a different, unique sort of way. Because Akira has shown us that he will wake up, EX, dive kick, and do things that are way different. If you can kind of dilute that, you can take Akira down. Final anchor match of the day, or anchor match of the day, the final match of this is going to determine so much. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, this is going to be ever so important, right? Getting this anchor match for V6 plus FAV Go to Z. They need as many points as possible to make sure to... I mean, to be fair, they've already solidified the spot. But if they get that second place and ensure it, that's going to be so advantageous for them, getting that home position for the playoffs. What a V-shift against the dive kick. If you can't anti-air it, hey, use that V-shift. So smart from Bonchan.
Talked about that before, and to be honest, Karen does not need V-Trigger to take those wins. She's pre-built to use that V-bar in multiple mini ways, I should say. Bar is building up. The challenge, though, from Akira, not able to get too much off that jab, though. Just a dab from Bonchan's side. EX for Sinha's an anti-air.
And look at the utilization of the resources Bonchan has had, right? We've talked about the V-shift, we've talked about the EX for Senha. He has been in full control against Akira. You can see him pretty much outclassing the young man in experience, and it shows right here in the pace.
Able to open him up, 20 seconds. Winding down with that medium kick. Great closer button. The DP not coming through. Not sure what Akira wanted there, but he's going down.
Round 2.
I think he was tempting him just a little bit to press a button and trying to get, pretty much steal it away from Bonchan, relying on the invulnerability. But it's a very risky play. I think he was just slightly desperate. I do like the EX Tenko getting himself on the other side. Very standard Karen play, using all the meter. The throw is going to be enough, but no, he gets the deliberate delayed crouching medium punch for the stun. Back throw will do it. That's exactly what it is. That's all she wrote.
How stressful this must be to have to fight an Evo champion. Have to fight somebody that maybe didn't have the best fight against another Cammy player that definitely did the homework to deal with this genre of Cammy. Maybe not the same sort of flavor, but the genre of aggressive Cammy. Bonchan with the dominance of the neutral, denying the approach, making Akira crack it. Just like that, we have one quick game on the board for Bonchan. Let's see what's in store.
Yeah, I mean, he's utilized his Karen. he's utilized Karen against a multitude of Kamis. Primarily the one that we're talking about is Fujimura. He fell short to Fujimura 2 times over, so you'd imagine he's already studied the matchup very carefully and is currently picking apart. He's taking all of his aggression from his losses against Fujimura out on Akira is what it looks like.
If I can't fight this dude, you'll do. Look at him backing away. No one could come into play. The activation denying that. Medium kick to check before the crouch fierce could come through. I like that. Easy work right here from Bonchan. Just disallowing what Akira wants to do.
It kind of brings me back to what his teammates said about Bonchan when it comes to their #1 characteristic. I think it's so scary seeing Bonchan switch it up from being such a jovial kind of character and showing how much of a goofball he can be into the serious killing machine that he is right now. You can look at the determination on his face. Like outside of the gameplay, you can see how honed in he is into the matchup, but you can see it on his expression. Look at the amount of damage incoming as well. Karen just hits like a truck, and the counter hit is going to explode into damage into the victory. Bonchan is here not to have fun. He's here on business. When they ask you, when he flies in, if it's business or pleasure, it's always going to be business. But afterwards, you can see the slight smile on his face, talking to his teammates as well. He has his fun when he can. But once that matchup starts, once it says fight, he is in that serious business mode again.
He said flying for business and casual. My man said, I'm ready for battle, bro. 2-0 already on the deck. And you see, again, him being so deliberate in the neutral, staying away from crouch medium kick, staying away from activation points, using non-committal buttons with the medium kick to check Akira's approach and the dashes and things like that, to stop sore buttons from coming through before they can even come through. Bonchan also using the V-shift, as we talked about before, against a dive kick. All of these tools denying the wild child right here that is Akira, denying that gameplay that we usually like to see from Akira, who runs rampant. He's actually found a way to calm this dude down.
But what is it about Akira that needs to change in this matchup in particular? Bonchan has pretty much set the pace with the normals and has outpaced them, specifically with standing medium kick and also using the resources that he's had against some of the main tactics that Akira has chosen. What is it that Akira needs to do now?
You gotta be able to flow with that rhythm. You gotta be able to dance with and get that confidence in there. I don't think doing things like jabbing and invuln DP are gonna work on a dude like Bonchan. He's gonna stay solid. But the check on the dash, again, I'd like to see more walk-ups instead of the dashes because they've been checked damn near every single time. Round start looking real good for Bonchan, and the anti-air side switch with it. Puts the shoulders on him. About to be knees and toes. Oh, the crush. It's not looking too good, Vicious.
Looking kind of rough, to be quite honest with you. Bonchan has just been so dominant. Even after this activation, like sure he can net as much damage as possible. Man, what a gutsy decision from Bonchan. Not as gutsy considering the amount of life he has left, but still kind of making that statement is like, you know, I'm not afraid to lose all this life if you block this, to be honest with you. But overall, yeah, Akira spending that trigger early was not going to net him the most success because of the fact that he didn't have enough life to get himself another one, and that's all she wrote. Yeah, Bonchan yet again finding himself at match point with that crouch jab. Look at this from Akira. He's not been able to play his game at all.
Is controller plugged in? Is it still in? Because Bonchan's made it look like it's a one-player game, dog. Single-player experience out here. Bonchan, again, see outside the distance, the crouch medium kick and a lot of other buttons. Rating anti-air goes low, clips up the easy, puts him in the corner. The take throw, corner pressure, not too bad for this character. Runs the medium, this time the blocks, and stays away from the activation. He knows what he wants at play from Akira. Runs the medium, and that'll do it right there with the EX connects. Bonchan taking a 3-0 sweep over the wild child that is Akira.
That is probably the biggest shutout we've had in the league. I haven't seen that many perfect plays set until today, and what a time to do it. Bonchan and the team overall getting themselves 4 points. 4 points, a perfect record, ensuring their spot in second place for the playoffs.
Incredible.
That was actually pretty nasty. 32 points? Are you kidding me?
32. Oh, definitely solidified. They were toasted and cheered. But even with that, like, oh, we got it in the bag. We done did the victory right here. They still stayed on play. Like Bonchan was still playing like a murderer out here. Like the game's over, but he's still playing. He's still plugged in. and he got that win 3-0, a 4-0 sweep overall totality. Akira unfortunately feeling it, his team reeling from that loss, and that's a big one right there.
Yeah, you know, if they had successfully got themselves at least a point, they might have been able to snag themselves a spot into the playoffs. But the way that it stands right now, V6 plus FFV Roto Z has solidified the placings for the entirety of the league already. With this 4-0 victory, that leaves Shinobiism Gaming, Gyogun, and Mildon Beast secured in 3rd through 5th place because of the fact that they have 27 points. No matter what anybody else does, that's not going to change their placement in the league, and it's not going to go past 2nd place, right? At least they're going to be fighting for who's going to take the home or away position going forward in the first set of playoffs in January, the beginning of January. But as it stands right now, Shinobiism Gaming, Gyogun, and Mildon Beast again have officially secured their spot into the playoffs. Now it's all a matter of how they're going to get this home or away position.
Right. Remember, they're still trying to get those prime positions. You definitely want to be in the home spot, not have to give away all your cards with the away position. And we can give you some more of the replays right here. Looking back at what had happened to Tokido versus, oh man, this is so dominant from Tokido. When he said he knew the matchup, he definitely understood the assignment. Again, backing away from these bad situations and just putting out normals like the jump medium kick. I really like that.
Time over.
Look at that, time over. You don't see that from your end players usually.
You barely see it in Street Fighter in general. I think that was a very, very smart decision from Tokido, understanding full well how Dogra wanted to play. And it's just unfortunate, right? I think Nagoya Ultra Body Stars, they're very much so competent players. I think being at the away disadvantage, the away team disadvantage, is what really shook them, because, you know, a team like V6 plus FFV Roto Z, they're not going to take it for granted. They're definitely going to do the homework as much as possible. And you can see it right here. They've picked apart this team flawlessly, and you can see Tokido just running his course.
And we get into some more of that Urian Bison play right here. Oniki just taking a little bit too long to turn up. And again, Ryusei with the aggression. Being able to keep up with Oniki is no small feat. We saw Oniki be probably the most aggressive Bison in the business in terms of Street Fighter League Japan, but it didn't work out against someone that can keep that same sort of heat. I feel like we started to see also a little bit more defense, him shift up a little bit, you know, using the V shift and stuff like that, but a little bit too late, especially when Ryusei came through with the EXPs at the end, which we'll probably see. But also good mirror usage in general from Ryusei. I do like Oniki staying outside the distance, like dealing with the exterior tackles and things like that. He did a good job of that. It's just not putting everything together, way a little bit too long, and that's why we see Ryusei moving on.
Yeah, no, Ryusei, again, being one of the more effective Urians that I've seen. I mean, like, in the world, he's probably within, like, the top 5 caliber, but I will say his adaptation skills are easily one of the best in the world. And going into a world-class bus-ass, I will say, Bonchen completely outclassing Akira. And I will be quite honest, man, you could see the experience shine and shown in the way that Bonchen was playing and picking apart Akira. Not a single chance for him to play his offense. Despite how much meter he had, he did not let him get to utilize it.
Even like things like that from Akira, I would love to see the crouch medium kick confirmed. Hit his power arrow to get going. We didn't see a lot of hit confirms come through from Akira. A lot of shake right here. Bonchen staying steady at the ready with that EX finish right there. That's where I knew things were almost over for Akira. Could have made the comeback. Was starting to trap a little bit, finally finding some confirms right there. But the reads from Bonchen, not only dismantling the character, but also the person, understanding how to stay out and find this perfect KO. This to me showed that Bonchen is still in the team itself of V6, you know, plus FEV Roto Z is so strong. They've already got the win, and they're working the other team like this. That is ridiculous. Bonchen just showing why he is an EVO champion.
He was definitely looking like a boss. He was forcing the workers to go into overtime. He was working them overtime without that extra pay. He's like, you know what? You're capped at salary. You are not getting into the 5th place. You are not going to get into the chairman's table. You are absolutely capped. You're going to stay a salary man we move on to the upper echelon. Nagoya Ultra Body Stars, again, one of the better teams to watch in the league, and it's so enjoyable to watch in the league. Unfortunately, will not be making it into the playoffs. I will say, again, some of the best performances we've seen from Oniki and Dogra is just the way that it fell down, right? The way that it... What is Tokido doing? The way that it happened to falter with the away disadvantage.
That's how it goes. You have to switch up your strategy. That's the great thing about Street Fighter League, having the difference in terms of strategy. You have to come as a team. And Bonchan saying that he can finally score some points after losing so much. So his focus was there to score points and also get that victory. Like, he's still getting that win for himself. Even though they had the victory and solidified that, qualifying position, they still wanted to get the points. And he apologized a lot to his team every single time that he lost. Guess you ain't gotta apologize this time. You gotta say, hey, y'all gotta give me some thanks after that big win.
I think it's just him kind of showing his team that, I'm here to pull in my weight. I know I've held the team back just a little bit, so he's finding his redemption arc, and it's a great time to do so, right? Getting a full-on 4-0 at the last game that they're playing before the playoffs happen. You couldn't ask for more from someone like Bonchan, the executioner of justice. And it is sweet, sweet justice that they get themselves into the second place position, because they've been so consistent, right? They've been placing so well for themselves and accumulating as many points as possible. If you were to look at the entire roster, like, you could easily pick this team as being one of the top 3, and they went above and beyond that. They got second place and are currently going to be sitting pretty. They're going to be chilling until January.
The fact that everything was so tight, again, shows you the quality of Street Fighter League, so Ultra Body Star shouldn't feel too bad. But Tokido said it was a tough journey for them to finally reach the second position. Sako saying that, hey, he wanted to play. He had picked the opponent prior, but isn't able to go so. But this is the first 4-0 that they've had. What a dominant one to come through for a 4-0 position, for finally finding that in the finals to solidify their spot, the qualifying spot. But remember that we still have some more games to play, that everybody coming through still has to, at least the ones that have qualified, has to be situated in the bracket, in the home and away side of things. They are looking forward to the playoffs, especially with Luke being playable, so hopefully we get to see some Luke coming through. And y'all can look at Luke and these beautiful monitors right here. I'm not sure what they are. What I am sure of is I'd like to see some Luke. Coming up, Shinobiism Gaming versus Gyogun. And if there's someone that's going to be running Luke, it's possibly, maybe Momochi.
Capcom Esports has been doing active giveaways throughout the entirety of the league, one of them being a monitor from the sponsors that have been supporting the league throughout its entirety. And I will say, as we get ourselves ready for the playoffs, we have to see some of these teams, some of these players still do as much as they can to get themselves ready for the playoffs. Although it has been solidified, you can guarantee yourselves some exciting matches, and seeing how these players break down some of their matches. In fact, I'm very curious to see if in our next matchup between Shinobiism Gaming and Gyogun, whether or not we're going to see some Luke, right? That has been the idea on everybody's mind, the topic of everybody's mind, whether or not that character is going to come into play, because he's looking mighty busted. And I'm not going to say that, busted enough to be one of the best or like the best character, but at least he's going to be in the topic of discussion of top 10, the way that he's being developed currently.
Yeah, he looks very strong, and I'm glad they made this DLC to be a strong character and competitor. And I feel like people like Momochi, who pick up characters very well, very quickly, as we've seen with Akira, could definitely run that. Y'all can run some of these beautiful shirts. Man, I'd love to get one of these beautiful Street Fighter League shirts right here, all the way to the 2021 emblem right there. But again, we're going to get into Shinobiism versus Gyogun. I can't tell who's going to win, because remember, they're still playing, despite the fact that they might want to go for Luke or maybe mess around with some different sort of picks. Maybe they might pick something a little bit less serious just to try it out right now. But y'all can try on that beautiful hoodie right there if you go to Amazon Japan and pick it up. Man, can we order that? Yo, Capcom, hook us up a little bit. They're wearing it right there.
I'm actually going to look it up on my Amazon. Oh my God, these guys are cheating. That's not fair. These guys get it all the time. They get it on lock. No. Oh, come on, man. Hamiko is showing off. Oh, these are the long. So they have not only just the long sleeves, but they also have the crew necks available, as well as the hoodies. Very nice, very nice. I'm actually, during the break, I'm actually gonna check out my Amazon Japan account and be like, yo, man, where's the Capcom stuff? Let me see all this. Let me see where I could find the Capcom Street Fighter League merch. Perfect. All right. I can't find any of it. Maybe I'll find it down the line eventually. But I will say, while I look it up, I need you guys to prep in and dial in for the next matchup coming up. Again, St. Cola has prefaced it earlier. It's going to be Shinobiism Gaming on the away side going up against Team Gyogun. It's going to be pretty wild considering how Luke is now legal to play. I'm wondering if Momochi is going to bring it out. We'll find out after this break with more Street Fighter League Pro-JP.
さて一丁やってやりますかね。 だっけ？しっかり見たか？常に臨戦態勢さ。
それでは
Into the next match we go. We have our teams ready for the away side. It's going to be none other than Shinobi-ism Gaming. Leading the pack is Momochi, the head ninja. Without a doubt, he's been using that Akira effortlessly. I wonder if he's going to be using Luke this time around. But if not, we still have the master of lethal. That is Fujimura, accumulating as many points as possible. Not with Chun-Li, but rather with Cammy. And of course, the experienced youth, the man who's already made it into Capcom Cup, none other than Higuchi with that impressive guile. And the man of the week, Otani, has been clutching it out. He is indeed Toyama's talent with that Akuma play. He's been absolutely stellar in his performance, taking down Yanai not too long ago. I'm curious to see if he's going to be back in it for the doubleheader for this team today.
Good luck to them, because they're going to have to go up against Gyogun, the 4 big M's of Street Fighter League, all situated in one team. The first one, the 2D god himself, Mago. 2D for me, baby. Up next is going to be the Mr. Optimal himself, Machobo, with the perfect jump-ins to get those wins. The Kali and Candy picks at the ready. Right behind is the hero of Sunrise himself, Moke, with that beautiful Rashid play. And to round things out, it's the Suzaku's own Mizuha, who has been an absolute treat to watch throughout Street Fighter League. An absolute surprise with his Colleen pick. This team, super strong too as well. Great competitors. And again, we're in that situation where these teams have qualified. Now they're trying to see who's going to be in the home and away positions for the qualifiers.
Right, so we're seeing who's going to be taking what down. As we see from the last exchange, Shinobi-ism Gaming took down Gyogun 3-1 with Momochi scoring 2-0 over Mago. Higuchi getting 3-0 against Mizuha with that so impressive guile. The only one who fell short was Otani with that Ryu play. But he's been rocking the Akuma a little bit more towards the end of the season, and it's been ever so impressive, as you can see at the top of your screen how it all broke down. I'm looking to see what's going to happen now that Shinobi-ism Gaming is going to be on the away side. I want to see what the counterpick is going to be like for Team Gyogun, who's been finding a pretty good amount of success. Fujimura is actually going to be going first. No Luke on the table, though. It's going to be Cammy, and then Momochi rocking with Akira. I guess it's understandable that there hasn't been enough time, and they don't want to risk it, considering how close it's been for the playoff spots. So I can understand that.
Yeah, it makes sense. You want to get those playoff spots. It's no time for messing around. And Luke, obviously new again. Having a new character, hard to suss out in terms of what the weaknesses are. It's great to run that offense all dang day. You get the Twitter clips and you get compilable combos and stuff like that. But getting defense and closing out rounds is really hard to do with a new character, especially against people with a lot of experience with their characters. In the home discussion, saying Mago is yelling that this will be interesting, commenting on Shinobi's sequence. He yelled it. He didn't say it. He yelled it. This will be interesting. And did Mago get a cut? Did he get a new dude? Is that different? Mago be looking a little bit different right now.
Either way he splits it, it always looks good, to be quite honest with you, man. Mago has always been a stylish cat. He's been on the cover of many fake albums that we've made throughout the course of history in the FGC, alongside other notable names like Daigo and Tokido, but that's lore for a different store. I'll let you guys look that up on Google. But either way, Fujimura and Cammy, who do you think is going to be set up? Because they actually didn't play against Fujimura the last time they met. So who do you think they would put up against Fujimura's Kami?
It's kind of wild. Part of me wants to say Mako, but also part of me wants to say Mizuha. I feel like Mizuha has been doing a really good job of doing what Collins needs to do best, and that's dismantling the opposition. I feel like Mizuha would make the adjustments in a quick first or two, but it doesn't matter because Mago is going up on the deck immediately. Mago going up with the Karen first, and Moke on the bench. You know, Mago did say, hey, after all that laughing stuff, that we're going to get it done. And look at how much has been done by him. 8 points for his team, 3 anchor wins, and a very important one in red right there. So a lot of victory on the side of Mago right there with not only the Karen, but also the Kami pick. But also speaking of Kami, we got to look at Fujimura's count, 11 points on his side. That means a lot of wins. Mago is also saying Fujimura may have won against Bonchan, but he's not going to let Fujimura have his way. And they've zoomed into his camera right when that happened, looking like me out here with the St. Cola zoom. See, full effect.
Look at the amount of points that Fujimura has accumulated for his team, again, being one of the top point earners in the league, despite not it being in multiple anchor situations. Like, he has 3 as anchor wins, but primarily most of his wins came from the other 2 spots, right? And is looking to do so again. He's already up first, and he's pretty much the go-getter. He's the momentum getter for the team, and also being one of the biggest threats. I think Mago going up first to take down one of the strongest players in Shinobism is a smart choice, right? Fighting fire with fire and also utilizing that tournament experience. I think this is an excellent choice because if you look at the rest of the composition, Moke is on the bench. Machable also being one of those cats that have been absolutely a threat in CPT as well as Street Fighter League in general. I think they want to save someone like Machable for the anchor. But going into the home team trivia, they were asked to explain or describe their Street Fighter League experience this year through one Japanese character. And as we get that ready and settled in, again, we're looking at the team composition with Moke in the wayside. On the bench, it's up to Machable and Mizuha after Mago sets himself up for the first match. I'm kind of curious to see who's going to be the anchor overall. I'm inclined to believe that it's going to be, since Higuchi is going to be last, I think it's going to be Machable. I'm inclined to believe it's Machable.
I feel like that too. I think that would be a better composition overall. But even go back to this match that we're about to have right here. Even before that, actually, I should say, for the home team trivia, we're going to say that we're going to give you the characters that they have picked. Mago says leap. Moke says growth. Mizuha says hard work. And Machable says difficult. I think I could definitely see the growth in Moke, who's definitely been coming through with the Rashid play. I feel like that's a Rashid player that people don't give enough shine to, and you'll definitely see it out here. Like, he's definitely been putting in the work. And speaking of hard work, Mizuha has been grinding a lot on his stream. I every so often we'll go watch him on his stream and see the large amount of work that he's put in. He's shown it as he's taking victories against top players and been a very standout competitor. And Machable said difficult, which I definitely understand for him. Finding the difficulty of coming to a new character of Kami and having to go to the Kali every so often just to fight back. It seemed like he's had a rough ride. League has definitely been difficult for Machable for sure.
No, without a doubt. I mean, we might see his record. We're actually guaranteed to see his record no matter what, eventually when he comes up to play. And we get to fully break down what happened with his overall performance. And it's perfectly reasonable for him to say difficult. I think his journey has been one of self-discovery of whether or not he could hang with Kami or whether or not he just sticks to Nikali. He's still trying to find himself in the season, but he's going to have to wait until this match is over. Mago versus Fujimura is what's on deck. Karen versus Kami. Here we go.
Careful now. Fujimura has proven that he can deal with damn near every button from this character. So if you whip something, you might get got. But the tempo and the rhythm is a lot different when it comes to Mago. A man like him will do the sweep just like that. Right off the feet. But the buffer off the fierce and spiral arrow catches Mago. Goes to the corner. No confirming that crouching mini kick though. See more. Oh, you kidding me? The buffers and the wait and bait. Finds a punish on the DP. Stuns rising. Oh, and the one touch to get it done.
Look at the amount of meter that Fujimura built for himself after that exact sequence. From the throw bait, too. He actually got the crouch jab, walked himself back over to get the throw bait anyway. He is so optimal. What in the world? He went from Master of Lethal to stealing Machable's title. I'm telling you, man, he is looking super optimal. Getting himself out of the corner, too, utilizing the meter. That's going to be a stunt, and that's going to be all done, actually. Fujimura first game, the second round with 83 seconds left on the clock. My man is making sure that he gets it done as soon as possible.
Delivery's at the door. He's got to go get it. He's like, let me make this quick. One thing I want to give y'all in terms of trivia is back after Fujimura had fought Bonchan, I forgot who it was, but another top player had went back and looked at Fujimura's input. Dude was buffering after every crouch, like buffering after every single button, damn near every single button at least. And you can see it right here. Those buffers come through the spiral arrow and just continue that approach and coming through the crouch green kick, spiral arrow, the strike throw, up in the corner. There we go. Yeah, taking that pressure. You don't want to get opened up too much. You can't take too much more.
Ooh. And not even opting to go for the V-trigger activation is Fujimura, but instead it's on the hands of Mago, who does get the side switch after that hit confirm. Forward throw now. This is going to be pretty huge. I would think, you know, he's going to go for the Gyogun already.
Off the table, no more V-bar.
Oh,
and the whip punch against the crouch. Medium kick to do it. Oh my God, Fujimura.
Yeah, I mean, Fujimura was setting that up. Yeah, I mean, he was literally going for it over and over and over again, and Mago was just not outside the range to even try to get it. He was trying to counter poke it more so than try to whiff punish it. But the fact of the matter is, Fujimura kept it right at the range where that crouching heavy punch was gonna connect. It wasn't too surprising. Fujimura literally let the audience know and everybody in the world, like, he knew what he wanted for his activation route. He's like, crouching heavy punch is gonna be what's coming out.
Fujimura on a quick set point. On the dominance right here of how he plays this matchup and how he plays his character. Walks up with the throw. The sun's rising on Mago's side. Mago's bleeding.
And just walking out of range too.
Pierce.
Another one. He actually avoided the throw 2 times over, utilizing that walk speed. And even Mago, he has a smile on his face too, but I mean, I think he's just very impressed with how Fujimura played it out. Not too upset about it, because I will say Fujimura dismantled Mago. And the way that Mago is, he's a competitor. Like, sure, he'll take it to heart sometimes, but he also gives props to those that break him down pretty quickly. And that was actually super impressive. And they're definitely good friends either way. So no matter how you spin it, Fujimura came up the better man today. Mago, not too shook about it, but it was an experience of itself, I feel like, the way that Fujimura dismantled that Karen today.
He mauled him. Sans the distance. I like that minute walk back. Just how calculated he is shows that he's not human. He's a robot. On the side of anti-airs, 1 out of 3 from Mago and half in terms of the bust outs for Mago's side. On the other side, ground the game, didn't need the anti-air, kept it nice, cool, calculated, and controlled on the ground from Fujimura. Got the win, and again, those buffers are coming through, hot and heavy, had them ready, and just smoked Mago. That's one of those, well, I can't wait to see if they meet each other again, what's going to happen. Like, during the playoffs, if they do meet up, and if that happens, I can't wait to see what the deliberations will come from Mago, but that's a point on the board for Shinobiism game with the quickness.
You know, it might, I don't think it's going to be a possibility, because the fact that they're playing right now means they're not going to be within the same bracket, but that might change. It really does depend. I think Shinobiism Gaming, with the amount of points they get, it depends on how Mildon Beast performs. So you might be right in saying that they could possibly meet again, but it really is dependent on how Mildon Beast does, and as well as how many more points Shinobiism Gaming does, or gets for the team. If they score that 4, it'll be a pretty tall order for Mildon Beast to get that kind of situation again for the run back, which would be ideal, right? I think if you're Gyogun, you'd ideally want to play off against a team that kind of gave you the business, because you have so much, you have that kind of match in your memory so fresh, and it allows you to get that matchup studied for the next encounter. But as it stands right now, the current situation, Momochi with that Akira, I'd imagine what we said earlier, you know, we talked about Machomo being the anchor. It is indeed going to be Mizuha coming up next, and it just makes sense that way.
Mizuha with an impressive record of 11 points. Momochi with 7 on his side. A lot of wins on his side too, but going back to Mizuha, who's been a big standout. Look at those anchor match wins right there. There's 4 on the side. Mizuha saying he will get his revenge for Mago by beating Shinobi and Captain. Already says, look, I'm coming at you. He wants that revenge for Mago. Mizuha picked his match against Bonchan earlier, but right now he's got to take Momochi down. Momochi again with 7 points on his side. That's nothing to shake a stick at right there. In fact, that's very impressive. A lot of great wins on his side against MOV, Shudo recently. See if we can keep that same sort of heat.
Yeah, so the meaning behind that, why it's highlighted in red, they were picking their most important match in their opinion, or one of their favorite matches, right? You talked about Mizuha taking down Bonchan. That's pretty significant considering the accolades that Bonchan has, and Momochi picking his match against Sako, which he lost to, which is... That's the most ninja response, honestly. He's like, yeah, one of the biggest matches that stand out in my mind is the significant loss against Sako. And it's a pretty close match. We've seen the highlights. We were losing our minds over it. But it makes sense for Momochi to pick that. As it stands right now, Mizuha had a very rocky start, right? That was his first matchup was against Kichipamu's Abigail, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to scroll up and look all the way up and see how that played out, right? Gyogun face off. Yeah, he placed face off against Kichipamu. I remember that specifically because he was so adamant of utilizing that sweep as a footsie tool, and he lost 2-0. Since then, I was wondering, I was talking to Sien about this. I'm like, the way that Mizuha has been performing, especially after that match, I need to see some depth. I need to see some improvement because as it stands right now, that is not going to be enough to bring to the table with the amount of killers in Street Fighter League. Lo and behold, he's one of the top earners now coming into the finality of Street Fighter League and coming into the pretty much the last regulation game of the season for him.
That's true. And some Shinobi, some trivia. Again, that one word to describe the Street Fighter League experience, they're all picking, deciding. There's a lot, we've seen a lot of different people say a lot of things like growth, difficulty, and things like that. I'm very curious to see what, maybe someone like Otani would say, who's had, a back and forth, like warming up at the very end, what their discussion in their mind would be. Same with Momochi, who's been using a different, like a new character right off the bat and make it work. It looks like Momochi says peace and harmony, Bone Thugs with it. Fujimura says adjustments, and Otani says faith, and Higuchi says think.
That's hard for a lot of people, I feel like. With Higuchi utilizing the character Think, I feel like most people kind of autopilot, but you know what? He's been very active in breaking down the science to this game, and you can see it in his efforts and his results overall in not only Street Fighter League, but in the Capcom Pro Tour, already solidifying himself in the spot with one of the greats in his Japan qualifier, right? I think, no pun intended, I think that's a very, very solid characteristic to use, or character to use, I should say. Fujimura with the adjustments as well, and that is definitely the character he should use, considering how many different characters he's utilized over the course of his professional career and breaking down so many different matchups. He definitely has adjustments. Or if he were to pick Adapt, I would have been just as impressed. But going into it, we have Momochi picking that Akira. It's been a tough few months for him and the team to get ready. But overall, they think this move that he picked with Harmony, Peace and Harmony, they're going to be ready for this current challenge with Mizuha. We'll see how it plays out against this Colleen.
You have to have all the harmony in the world to deal with this character. If she puts you in the corner, it's going to be Suffer City. She's so good about, especially when she gets V-Trigger, pushing you in the corner and enacting her pressure. But Momochi, even though he had lost to Kawano against the Colleen pick, even though Mizuha is different, I'm sure he's labbed that out to see what it's all about. Puts a V skill, aerial rave, drops him down, puts him in the corner, goes low, but fighting back as Mizuha puts the target cover, not gonna activate just yet. The back throw with the activation of the crouch mini kick, of course. Trade. Mochi still has the lead in health, but not the corner, not the position in terms of where he's at. The screen, the challenge, and the activation.
There we go. Yeah, he's gonna get that V skill afterwards with the follow-up, and he might go for a critical art ender. There it is. Yes, exactly it. On the way down after the air fireball, you can indeed get the roundhouse to get the float, and boom, Daigo coming in hot with the critical art finish. Momochi put it in the most in terms of being efficient. That is a lot of damage, and he knew full well what needed to be done. I gotta say, that V-trigger is real broken. He had this sequence from the last time he played. He had this sequence where he got a critical art chip win, where the opponent actually couldn't view reversal the critical art. They had to take it because of the fact that Daigo would have punished the view reversal. Oh my God! Let's talk about that later. Mizuha is actually on the cusp of taking it down against Momochi.
One time.
And a forward throw. Yes, sir. So consistent. Man, Mizuha has been super impressive. Every time I've seen him play, it's been a whole different side of the ice. He's definitely looking like an iceberg, right? You see the surface, but what's important is what's down below, the rest of the body, right? This guy has been putting everybody in a body bag thus far.
The depth that he has. Hold on now, EX shoulders. But the depth that he does have with his gameplay, we've seen it against things where he's a little bit confused, against characters that maybe hasn't played as much. We saw him fight the damn pick, and he got that done. Can he get it done against the Akira pick? Can he acclimate and deliberate against his character? He's caught up in the corner. Yeah, holds that throw. Got to do something to get that V-trigger activation, the side switch, in that corner position where she can act the best sort of play. Back heavy kick crush, or crouch media kick too as well.
Yeah, not really getting the crush counter. He's looking for any sort of opening to get himself into V-trigger, and that's what's pretty important now. The lights coming in from Momochi. Still trying to contest. He does get the punish off of the fierce target combos. Double side switch over, and that's going to be more than enough no matter how you spin it. Even if he does get himself into the corner, the lights are going to be the damage. And again, he wasn't even done with that combo. He still had so much left to go no matter what. Momochi taking it down pretty convincingly in the first game. Actually, I will say in the second round, Mizuha turned it up to a 10. But there's something about Momochi, right? He's just always calm about the situation and always finds the right adaptations to make. He's been that way since his performances over in Street Fighter 4. Like, it's never, like, no matter how bad you beat this man, he'll always come back and make you work for it even more.
He's working right now with the target combo and that V skill in play. We've seen that. Got to be careful with the spacing on the parabellum. That medium punch coming through. Here's the crush. It's the parabellum on him. The dash up throw. It's the aggression we want to see a lot more of Mizuha. I feel like he waits back a little bit too long and gets opened up by the EX elbow or any sort of opening, and or at the same time is too far out for some of these buttons to reach. Then we see the punches come from Momochi and it's game over.
Oh my
So
God.
tense.
It's so daunting to see him walk in and out of these ranges because Mizuha is so tempted to press a button. You can see it in his movement. The background house does connect against Momochi. And that's going to be just fine. Yeah, Mizuha is going to be big chillin'. No pun intended. The Ice Queen is going to be sitting back with this life lead primarily for the remainder of this match. I'd imagine he's looking for this activation. Oh, and the punish, that's so good too. Momochi didn't want to go for the fierce route to go for this activation early because it wouldn't have led to too much damage, I think, if you know, of course, Mizuha still can block the mix-ups. This is going to be huge!
EX bar. Javelin gets a second. The third hit. One more touch to do it. I like that idea. Careful now, the challenge on the dash. You may not pass again. Mizuha started to dissect his opponent. We saw this before in so many matches. He starts to understand, okay, I can stand here, I can stand there against this character, I can deliberate against this range right here, but careful coming through. EX elbows, clips him low. This time the meter spin from all the way in the corner, back dash. Don't matter though. Light in a parabellum. Non-committal buttons.
Yeah, he's going to get himself that target combo into the V-skill, building himself just enough bar for the activation. So smart from Mizuha. And now this is going to be kind of tough, right? Momochi is still stuck in this corner. He does have the slight life lead, but that gray life does add up. And we see the amount of damage that Colleen can dish out once he gets that opening. Mizuha is not able to just yet. There we go.
What?
Activation.
Got clip low.
I like this, but still, Mizuha might get himself an opening. He does have full critical art on deck. Momochi, do not count him out at all. He does have such a hefty amount of life left. And that might just all go downhill. We'll see how it plays out. Mizuha already the big equalizer off of one bar and the meaty. Oh my, two touches, huh? I actually said that Momochi had a lot of life left. Let me fix my face. Did you see the cash out on that one bar and how much damage he did? That is actually ridiculous. I'm still surprised.
This character I mean, that's Kali, when she gets a bar going, the damage she can do, and the corner carry too as well. That puts you in prime position, and then she enacts her back heavy kick, fierce game in the corner. You can't press anything. You just get walked in with a throw. Mizuha fighting back, but just like that, walk up, crouch medium kick, a little bit more aggression. Lisa Perry up the table. These crouching kicks are doing money in the interruption, making him look funny. Pick him up a little bit with the aerial rave and drop him down. Sun's rising. Yeah, tech, a little bit obvious, knew what he wanted, but still, that space is perfect.
That was just so optimal too. The way that Momochi's been playing, he's been mopping the floor with Mizuha. Look at this near perfect against the young man. Does get to confirm. Goes to the uppercut for the damage. Still gets Oki after that, by the way. I like that trigger. Although he got the opening, it's not going to be enough. Just one touch against Momochi. He's not going to be fearing the rest of that trigger no matter what. Fighting back, finding the crouching medium kick. I do like that. Match point for Momochi.
That just goes to show you how well he's looking at the movement of Mizuha with the checks and going low profile. A lot of the moves coming through. The parry getting deleted, walk inside the range of the back heavy kick too as well. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of, a lot of peace right there, harmony in your mind to not get hit with that back heavy kick. Puts a crush on his own side. Picks up the B skill, of course. See that corner carry? The damage on the deck too.
Oh. The whiff punish, the giant whiff punish. Heard from all around the arena, really. Mizuha now on the verge of getting his offense going. He needs to tie it up here. He needs to get this round to live another day. Gets low forward, checking the moves, and speaking of low forwards, firing right back is Momochi. We might see the activation. We're looking for the fierce. No, it's going to be a raw activation coming in from Mizuha first. But Momochi, he doesn't get the target combo. It's too far. Immaculate defense from Momochi. Oh, this is huge.
Waste all that V-bar. This is maximum right here. Dropping down one more decision. Brings in Big Brother. Daigo, V-reversal. We have the escape. So smart, though, from Mizuha to get out of that situation with the escape V-reversal. He's have to deal with that corner pressure, but he cannot get hit, touch, or tap. It'll be over just like that. Time winding down, vicious. But it don't matter. The hit confirm finds a super. My big bro and me, it's a party, and that will do it. Momochi taking it over Mizuha. So many crouching medium kicks coming through. Just checking the movement and finding the hit confirms to do it. Damn.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I do like the little extra bit of flavor on top of that. He served up the low medium kick. He's like, guess what, Vicious? I got some more on the entree. Boom, uppercut, canceled into CA. My man is a gratuitous host. This man knows how to put on a show and deliver the best. I do like the work and effort he's put into Akira, and it's showing the fruits of his labor, sticking to this DLC character. Now that we have, like, what, a month to go into the playoffs, I would love, I mean, this is a special request, obviously. I would love to see Momochi tackle Luke and dissect this character and bring him to the playoffs. That would be a dream come true. But, as it stands right now, Shinobiism getting another point on the board for themselves. Let's take a look at how many points they've accumulated thus far to see where they're going to be at. That is going to be 29 points for Shinobiism Gaming. And again, if they get the 4-0 sweep, it's going to be very difficult, actually, for anybody else to catch up with. Again, it's already solidified second through fifth place. They're trying to find the most advantageous position, whether it be the home or away side. I think being in the upper bracket, if they're in third place, they will have to face off against V6 plus FAV Roto Z from the away position. However, if they take down that game, it's really funky, right? Whoever wins that side is automatically going to be put in the home position for the semifinals of that playoff bracket. But as it stands right now, there's so much more to consider. It's so intricate with the way it's set up now when it comes to the playoff spots with the home and away advantages, or disadvantages, I should say. But going into some into current affairs, Higuchi versus Machimo is what we could expect. And we can see the back and forth camera pans, man. It's getting pretty dramatic.
Still getting tense. As we prefaced before, they're trying to get those top spots for the qualifications and be in the right place. To be in the home positions too. So all this matters. All these fights matter. Plus, you want to get that dominance on the deck like Dog I can do. And speaking of dominance, there's a little bit on the side of Higuchi. 7 points for his team. 2 big anchor wins on his wins. Machimo did have a cool anchor win when we brought up the Nakali pick right there. When he's fighting Itazan. for 6 wins. Not too many other wins on his side. In fact, it looks like it's even right there. So he'll need a lot more on the deck, especially for this to be an anchor match. Machibo running the Cammy pick is going to be difficult. I feel like he's one of the Cammy players that have not gained as many wins as compared to maybe, you know, Fujimura and such, right? So to go up against somebody who's very proficient in that matchup, like a Higuchi, is going to be no small feat. Machibo is saying that he will try his best to do it, to put, you know, Higuchi to rest. But this is going to be difficult, though. Even just disallowing any of the matchup spread stuff from player to player, Higuchi plays a different style of Guile. Like, it's not one that you can really, you know, make an easy sort of template to fight. Like, he plays to a different job. He's a lot more risky, but with reward behind it, and understands the amount of risk. Like, he'll gauge that properly and is allowing him to be a lot more aggressive. Anyway, first to 3, best of 5 situation, final match of the day. Let's get it.
Machibo versus Higuchi. What you would expect is Cammy and Guile on your screen. Again, this is going to be the final match between these two teams. Before we get into the playoffs, let's get it. The anchor match. Machibo letting that Cammy rock, and just outside of the Sonic Boom range, or at least where the hurt box is, so that it stuffs Higuchi before the Sonic Boom even comes out, or even a trade, just in case. And I do like the range that he, and again, Higuchi now creating some space for himself. He utilized the medium kick so well, and it let those booms fly. And what a punish on the upside down kick. And damn, Machibo is all over him.
Yeah, more aggressive. The activation from the boom. B shifts away. You got out of danger with the sweep, off the feet and the throw. Dragon suplex. Back to neutral. Higuchi not giving up too much space, though, locking out the approach with one baby boom. I like how he backs him just a little bit, just wants to wait and see. The jump back, fade away and play. E-skill flash into the super. What a read. That's enough to do it. Damn. That was so smart. He was trying to get out of the corner. Get got.
He played him like a fiddle. There was so much confidence in the play from Higuchi. He was not pressed at all with what Machibo wanted to do. Again, that read came in full force, man. He checked him out. Clean, nice and easy. And it's back into this neutral game, right? That one sequence must have shook Machibo. Look at the entire difference. Okay, well, does get this counter hit. Excuse me. Machibo still trying to maintain his composure against Higuchi, but a lot more activity coming from the side of Higuchi up until this point. The trigger, there's no confirm off of that stray fierce, but still the upside down kick does find the mark. Higuchi is trying to maintain this momentum. Yeah, he's faking it out. He's trying to get Machibo to spend the meter earlier, but still. Back throw now. What's the critical art gonna do for these players? It might actually just kill, but we have to find that hit first.
Any opening will definitely do it. Who's gonna first one to crack? The first one to break down. Off the medium, and then Machibo spins the EX bar. He's the activation. It's gonna be a chip no dip situation. He can just get that one hit, but the backdash gets caught in the spiral arrow. Machibo's still alive.
Higuchi actually decided to stand block against that dive kick. He was stuck. He was ducking for a while, actually. I was very surprised he didn't go for the flash kick. I guess he just wasn't ready for it.
That's one thing you can put in your memory bank, I think, if you're Machibo, who is one of the best jumpers in the business in Street Fighter V. That's what I'm talking about. When you start implementing that game, you got to find the right way to come through all the antis of this character. Nice buffer right there, but the back throw. I'd like to see Machibo just in general go to the skies to see what it do against Higuchi. And you already saw that he was lacking a little bit. He ain't lacking the damage, though. Higuchi with the lead. Here's a DP, though. Spins all the bar out of the corner.
Yeah, I think there's not going to be... Oh! I was going to say, I don't think he's going to be relying on trying to build another V-trigger for himself. He's just going to continue this onslaught in the corner. Forward throw yet again. Higuchi is in big trouble. The back throw would have been enough to kill. The EX dive kick. EX uppercut. Machibo catching Higuchi by surprise moving forward. And that is going to be the first game for Machibo. A very significant one at that. Higuchi had all the meter in the world after that. Very surprising. Utilizing all that meter. I gotta say, Machibo's corner pressure is insane.
And the fact that he used the bar V-trigger addition to get there, that was just smart play right there. Like, I know if I can get you in the corner, I'm gonna get my win. Great play. And again, Machibo taking the skies a lot more, using the EX dive kicks to come through, a few more jumps here and there, swing that in. And as Guile, you have to pick the right anti-air. Like that air throw, your close up range, the DP raw addition to the weak the upside down kick. Machibo taking some risk and some reward.
EX flash kick, get off of me. He's going to be playing the life lead game a significant amount. The Sonic Boom still coming in full force. And I like how he's slightly showing off that he's not willing to throw the Sonic Boom because of the fact that Machabo has that meter. He wants Machabo to spend it early. And speaking of spending it early, okay, we're going to get the activation off of the sweep. Now Higuchi playing with the baby booms.
I like that idea to get the EXTK over the baby boom. One thing that's been kind of locking down a lot of people out throughout Street Fighter League. Oh, the crush.
That was so
just
disgusting.
Ooh, the dash up from Higuchi. One touch either side, which would love to have that chip. Spins the EX, actually, never mind. Yo, but Machabo, you ain't gonna spin, I'll win.
That was very smart. Man, the counter poke from that stand roundhouse, he utilizes that normal so well against majority of players here in the league. He's hit a good amount of those crush counters thus far. But now, as it stands, Higuchi has had a very similar start in majority of these rounds. They're just not able to clutch it out against Machabo. There's just something about that offense and the positioning that Machabo takes advantage of that Higuchi is not able to shake off.
Get the spiral arrow, push him into the corner, crouch medium punch again, buffering. Trying to find an opening with the sledgehammer fears. That heavy kick coming to play. Also good to stuff some of the Sonic Boom. Speaking of Sonic Boom, there's the EX. EXTP right back at him though. Machabo puts him in the corner. This is where he's made the most money. Crouch medium kick comes through the activation. Spin all that bar. Okay. And the throw.
Let's get the forward throw.
What else you got?
Yeah, and I like the trade-off. Yes, standing medium kick within the range of the Sonic Boom, but he's going to be backing off now. He does not want to be in that dangerous position, whereas Higuchi has all the meter in the world. Any sort of confirm can lead to big damage. That could have been it. If it was crouch jab into something else, it would have been dangerous time. But Machabo again getting the throw bait against Higuchi. That is 2 games straight and 2 rounds straight from that match.
I feel like he's playing Higuchi very well. Like he's playing around Higuchi and the toolkit that he wants to use. Forward meaning kick, back meaning kick. I'm sorry. I guess both, really, the Sobato and just in general, and the upside down kick too. He's been able to punish those or have a buffer behind those to deal with those, and that takes a lot off the deck in, you know, dealing with Guile's tools. Plus, he deals with the fireballs very well. Neutral jump, walk and block, and his jumpers have been almost sublime. Game point, Machabo.
Oh. And I like, again, Higuchi playing in a very similar range, a similar spot that he's been doing throughout the entirety of this set. But this is the great equalizer, right? You do have Machabo utilizing that V-trigger to the fullest, getting a full-on punish, and this is exactly where he goes downhill for Higuchi. Once he gets these kind of openings, it's been all Machabo. The offense is just too great for Higuchi to handle, especially in the current position that he's in right now. The dash-up was so brave. That was very smart from Higuchi, but still, it's not going to deter Machabo from pressing all these mediums against them. This is going to be tough. Higuchi with no more meter left. He doesn't even have a trigger either. And I feel like with Machabo, if he gets this confirmed, it's going to kill. Forward throw. Okay, trigger on deck for Higuchi.
Dash up, keep activation.
You are so sick! You are
punish.
actually so sick for that. Machabo with the read against the upside down kick. Higuchi was like, I got some reads, but Machabo was like, you know, I don't think so. I got myself a digital book on you. That was disgusting.
Off in the corner, gets the counter. Oh, that's done.
Oh, you're actually getting so close to dead. Get the membership to Barnes & Noble now. Back throw. Critical Art is on deck. He couldn't chip him out. If Higuchi goes for the trigger, it doesn't even matter what your name is. He took him down to the SmackDown Hotel. 4 rounds straight. 3 games straight. Machabo taking it down for the team, eliminating Higuchi in very convincing fashion. That was a clinic.
I have not seen a Machabo like that in Street Fighter League till now. Even though we're seeing a draw, I gotta say the way that Machabo played so dominantly is so strong for that team. It showcases to me, like, you know, the team member that's maybe not as successful as the other ones that has been Machabo, right? Is still on par, is still at the ready. And we see right here with the Cammy playing not only the matchup very well, but also the Higuchi matchup very well. Those Sobatos, the upside down kicks, implementing with punishes, buffers, and then also the V shift into a full punish. Ridiculous. We're gonna get the home interview in a second. I cannot wait to hear what Machibo's like, what happened? Like, who is this new beast? He said he was gonna do it, and he tried his best. So if that's his best, the other team's gonna be after watching out. Big bust out right here, the 100% from Machibo, and then 100% on the side of Higuchi. Only did not get one jump in over the two that came from the side of Machibo. So Higuchi with 1 out of 2 anti-airs. 100% on the EX DPs. Same with the side of Machibo, but damn, Machibo just got into Higuchi's head and would not leave. Rent free.
That's actually very surprising to see that statistics so low from the side of Machibo, really. When it comes to him jumping in on Higuchi, I feel like that number should have been significantly higher. I mean, has there really been only 2 dive kicks that were in play? I know he did one on Wake Up, and that's how he got that win. It was like an EX dive kick into EX uppercut, and then there was a punish on a Sonic Boom with the enhanced V-trigger dive kick as the second instance. But is that really the only jumps that Machibo has taken? That is extremely scary if you think about it, because we've seen how much of an advantage Cammy has in the sky, but being able to play the ground game, phenomenal. Speaking of phenomenal ground game, Fujimura is definitely one of those to exemplify such solid offensive pressure on the ground. Boom, boom, boom. That's all he wants right there. Just getting that offensive pressure as soon as possible. He is so sick with it. It was enough for Mago to actually laugh. He was actually super impressed by it.
Can't say too much. You're getting absolutely smoked like a barbecue out there. And again, Fujimura going for that trade situation, knowing that it's no big deal. He has all the help to play with. And we've seen the buffers. I can't wait to check his inputs, because I'm sure he's buffered something after every single normal. That is just how a machine operates. That's just how a machine operates. He can't be human. He's got to be machine with the way that he got into Mago and way that he had a buffer behind damn near every single normal, and his pressure, able to keep up with someone that's so aggressive and will take the risks, that Mago would do. It's insane to me. Also, it's insane this match that the fact that we saw the crouching kicks come through again over and over again, especially towards the end of these matches, from Momochi to catch the walkbacks, the call-outs, just awesome that he read Mizuha, who's been on a tear. It's fantastic play from Momochi right there. What a combo sequence right there, super. Whew.
I get they wanted to get as many points as possible. I mean, I think the draw is going to be more than enough to get them in a very advantageous position, at least for Team Gyogun, right? With their current standings, they don't have to face off against V6 plus FAV Roto Z, which is going to be just fine. And then in their matchup, depending on who they play, they might just be in the home position, maybe, right? They were trying to secure themselves the most advantageous position going forward, because they already know they solidified themselves into the playoffs. But looking into the finality of it all for these two teams, Higuchi, again, it looked like he had it all in his pocket, right? He had such a dominating performance in the beginning of every match, and even after that read against Machibo, but still, yeah, man, there's something about Machibo that the clutch factor just kicks in. Look at the amount of gusto he's got with that stand roundhouse. He's got so much success with counterpunching with that normal. Yeah, look at that. That's 2 already. I was going to say, there's no way he's only jumped in on him twice over.
We saw him also deal with the Baby Boomer too as well. Like, he did the EX TK on that, so it's got to be more, definitely more than 2 that came from Machibo.
Look at that.
Look at that.
We counted 3 already.
We have to get a recount. We get a recount. Machibo, though, taking the skies. I feel like that's been part of his success, and also the confidence with his character, and also just reading the room and the rhythm of how the other person wants to approach. Trying to walk through that, no big deal. I got that medium kick to close it, and now we see a draw. But again, the strength I see from Machibo tells me that Gyogun ain't nothing to mess with. Even the weakest team member is still at the same level as the rest of their best.
As we get ourselves ready for the home team interview, again, it did end in a draw, but it's not the kind of draw that they'd expect. I mean, to be fair, I think Mago, again, starting off the matches, he did get demolished, but I think the rest of the teammates sort of tried to pick it up. You know, Mizuha fell short by the wayside just a little bit in one game, right? 2-1 against Momochi's. Akira, not too bad at all. But I think Machibo coming into it, this is a great confidence booster going into the playoffs with that 3-0. As it stands right now, Machibo has been the main interviewee thus far. And Macho actually says the early part of the match was tough, but he's slowly adapted, which was completely evident, right? We saw Noguchi control majority of these matches in the beginning, and Macho just completely taking it from underneath him. And I will say, I think it's because of the giant factor that is V-Trigger from Cammy. Having that threat of being able to open someone up on the ground and in the air against someone like Guile who's willing to throw these booms, I think was a pretty important detail, and it leads to so many scary situations. Mago himself actually says they wanted to 3-1 or 4-0 today and get the third place position. You know, I think they still might be able to solidify at least an advantageous position with fourth, but thinking about it, he's like, I guess they were really confident in facing off against V6 Plus FFV Roto Z if they got that third place. So they might have had something under the wings in terms of preparation. And he also tells Mizuha not to feel bad, not to feel too bad for losing.
Yeah, this right here, so the qualification zone, you know, not the worst time to go down, obviously with everything being solidified, you know, not the worst time to, you know, take an L. But either way, I do like the fact that, you know, going back to Macho, showing his strengths, I feel like one of the people that hasn't been able to kind of solidify themselves is finally on track to really be a big threat out here for the League Japan. Not that he wasn't a threat before, but to be someone on notice. Mizuha, again, you know, still not the worst situation for them. We're going to see the point structure real soon here. But as we said before, all the teams are qualified right now. It's just a matter of solidifying those spots of where they're at. Let's go back to FAV Roto Z, getting that 4-0 sweep that solidify those spots. Oja, Body Star going down 0, and then Gyogun versus Shinobi on that draw. These matches determined today, at least, what we have for the playoffs. You can see right here, Good 8 Squad at the top, of course. FAV Roto Z, Shinobi Gaming, Gyogun, and Milodon Beast will be your your Street Fighter League teams in the playoffs. Oja, Body Star, Soul Detonation, unfortunately, out of the running and the competition.
Yeah, that pretty much leaves us with just a couple of more matches left. Actually, just one day left in this season of Street Fighter League Pro-JP. And what it is right now, as it stands, you know, we have Mildom Beast facing off against Sai Shunkan Soul Kumamoto. If they net themselves 4 points, they will be in third place in a very advantageous position. And it's, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled it off, because they did not too long ago. In fact, yesterday they did that. And of course, Good 8 Squad versus Camouflage Detonation. Again, those two teams is going to be pretty much an exhibition at that point. I want to see what Detonation does to kind of embarrass Good 8 Squad to as much as they can, right? That's the point right now, because Good 8 Squad already in first place. And again, it's been a very, very solid showing from Soul and Detonation, as they tried as much as they could. Very, very competent players all across the board. But as it stands right now, ladies and gentlemen, we only have 1 day remaining. We've already solidified our teams, but we're going to see how the placings go for Mildom Beast. Can they successfully get a 4-0 to put themselves at the advantage for the playoffs in the beginning of January? That's the question that's going to be on everyone's mind, and we'll see and find that answer next time on Street Fighter League Pro-JP on Thursday. Take care.